Hey everybody, we are going to be taking a look now at making the game dangerous. It's a pretty boring game if you can't die or can't be hurt, right? So one of the ways you can do that is by making some dangerous terrain, and you can see in this game there's some spikes, deadly looking spikes, and if I go and fall on top of a spike, oh, I get hurt and I go back to the beginning of the game. Depending on what spike I hit, I can, end up doing all sorts of damage to myself. Oh my gosh, here we go. Oh, I'm so hurt and dying. So that's an important part of these games. Let's see how to do that. So in the scene drawer, you can take a look at this nice looking, this block here. This is a pretty great container block that lets you detect collisions. It's kind of like what we did with sprite-based collisions. But this one's going to be colliding with particular tiles, and we can select what tile we want to program a collision at. So we can make collisions for all sorts of different things, chests, whatever we want to add in there. So what does that code look like to make me get hurt? So I have a couple of things. First of all, I make it so that I teleport back to the spawn location when I get hurt. That's a pretty classic platformer move, right? When you die, you go back to a spawn location. So that I like that. And then also I change life by -1. I set it to have 5 lives at the beginning. I like this camera shake. It looks pretty dope, I think, to shake it up. It looks like, oh, I got hurt. It gives it a bit of tactility to it, if you know what I mean by that. I make a little noise happen, and then I make it cry. I have a little fountain effect where the tears come out, which I think looks pretty great. So this allows you to make collisions with particular tiles, and this is what makes you get hurt. But you can use the same technique to make you gain a life if you jump into the Fountain of Youth, or if you want to trigger other things to happen. Like this container block is the way to go for all sorts of collisions with tiles to make them special. There is a problem with this though. Check it out. If I land on 2 tiles, see I'm at 5 life. If I land on 2 tiles, I lost 2 lives. And it's pretty easy for my character to land in between these 2 tiles. The pixels here are not the actual tile. The tile is that whole box. So I actually will take damage if I touch sort of either of these parts of the map. And that's awfully easy to do. And you can lose 2 lives and you only really want to lose 1. So how do you fix that? Well, I have a technique. I'm using a variable called ouch. And ouch just starts at 0. And then I only let you take damage if ouch equals 0. So inside of our container block, I've put everything inside of an if container block that says, if ouch equals 0, okay, cool, take damage. And then what I do once I go inside the if statement, the first thing I do is I set ouch to 1. So then it will go and do all the damage stuff. And then when it comes back to check for the next block, because it's going to run this twice, ouch is already 1, so this if statement won't pass anymore. So for the second one, doesn't actually get to cause damage. But then you'll never take damage again as long as ouch is 1. So what do? And this is a little janky, but this is the best way I've found so far. I have a little forever loop that every 100 milliseconds is setting it back to 0. So it just kind of will reset ouch once that happens. And, if you find a better way to do that, I'd love to see it. So I bet you can innovate on that. I was doing this with my son, and he was like, good enough, it works. And I'm like, you know what? I agree. Let's just stay with it. But feel free to find a more efficient way, because it's a little bit wasteful. Like every 10 milliseconds or 100 milliseconds is doing this task that maybe doesn't need to be done all the time. Anyways, that's basically the story there. I'm thinking of ideas already. So I hope you have fun making your game more dangerous. There's lots of other ways to make it dangerous, but also we have to make it rewarding as well. So it'll be fun to see how we can play some rewards in the game. So stay tuned for more.